Hello and welcome to my review of the Space Marines Terminator squad for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. One of these kits will cost you £40 and consists of 140 plastic components, which kind of means that they will have the second largest amount of spare parts in the whole of this new kind of updated range for Space Marines. Although the £40 price point does detach them away from the other factions Terminator box sets, such as the Blightlord Terminators, which is a fantastic set for £37.50, the Chaos Terminator squad for £37.50, and can you believe it, both the Deathwing and Blood Angels Terminator Assault squads, they're still £37.50. So I would have liked to have seen these been brought out at the same price, but considering that they include more than double the number of components that the Blightlord Terminators have, I guess it's not too bad, and it could be worse. The Custodes Alaris Terminators, £35 for only 3 of them. So yeah, it could be worse. I'll have to say this set is in my top 2 of the best releases of this current range. The first being the Stern Guard. I'm pleased that I'm recording this video after unboxing and constructing all the Stern Guard as well. It would have been a slightly different review if I hadn't have done that first. So sometimes it pays off to kind of build everything in the new release. So I'll certainly continue that trend in future, but that will always be tricky when all of the new releases are released on one day. But here we are. We've got the brand new Terminator set, multi-part, multi-pose, none of this WYSIWYG, monopose, easy to build Terminators from the Leviathan box set. I will be doing a complete comparison with all of those 5 in this review, as well as some old school Terminator models that I've managed to find in my collection, and comparisons with other 40k minis as well. If you missed out on the Terminators in the Leviathan box set, and you also didn't succumb to buying them separately off eBay from someone's set or from a mate or something, yeah, go out and buy these is my best advice. They are fantastic. They're a great kit. Yes, they are a bit pricey compared to other Terminators in the range now, but to have Primaris sized Terminators, and with Games Workshop's official backing in their articles, these are Primaris Space Marines in the new Terminator armour. They're a mixture of Primaris and Legacy Space Marines. It now means that your Terminators aren't going to be, a little bit, overshadowed by normal Primaris intercessors and even the new Scouts, which is good. So the format of this review, because I've rattled on already in this video, is I will look at these miniatures up close. I'll go through how easy they were to build and things. Then we'll look at all those spare parts. We'll go through a load of size comparisons, as I say, with the Leviathan Terminators, the previous models, and even the models before those. Then we'll go through all the rules for them, found in the brand new 10th edition codex, courtesy of Ed. He donated that to the channel, so I couldn't give you all the rules for all of these models without Ed's support, so thank you. So let's have a look at these miniatures up close then. We'll start off with the Sergeant right here. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of this Sergeant's pose. I guess it's a little bit different than what we've had before, which is just, Sergeant in where the previous set, the torso could be moved about on the hips and you could pick any legs for the Sergeant. This is not the case. It's a bit of a different pose than what we're used to. Normally the sergeant's sort of walking forward with the sword, again in the left hand. You don't have to equip him with the power sword. You can keep him with the power fist. Even I think it includes a pointy power fist. I think also you can have him with a chain fist. So if and when I do get another set of these, the Battle Forces, Christmas Battle Forces have already been announced. Although they've got 15 of the jump pack intercessors, I do feel like the other models in that Battle Force are Games Workshop's way of kind of getting rid of them, getting rid of stock, which is a bit of a shame because I would have probably preferred 10 jump pack intercessors and 5 Terminators, or even 5 with 5 Terminators, but they've gone for like a fast attack kind of strike force thing, so there we go. But no doubt these Terminators will be around for quite a while, and they'll probably appear in an army box set at some point, so that's fine. I mean, I've got 10 of these new ones already. So that's the Sergeant. Looks fine. You get a load of spare parts that you can put the shields on, and you can put these little icons and things. We've got this Terminator. It's quite a nice pose. I like the leg angle there, just firing off the Stormbolter, charging. I've given them all chain fists. Why not? Why wouldn't you? They are, they do have better rules, I think. So, yeah, very nice. The one thing you're getting with these Terminators now is just a way better looking Stormbolter. It's bigger, beefier. The power fists look quite nice as well. You're getting, I think, more teeth on that chain fist. You've got this one here, which is just sort of standing and aiming, like it's sort of teleported in. You're getting this one, which is probably my favourite pose out of all of them. This is what I imagine Terminators doing, implacably advancing, relentlessly advancing. Slow, slower than normal Primaris, but still advancing, unstoppable. This is a thing in all the lore. You can outrun a Terminator, but you certainly can't hide from one. So yeah, fantastic. And then this pose, which is a bit of a letdown. If I get another set, I'll probably change the pose or something for the missile launcher. I think sort of he's kind of leaning a bit too forward. And the missiles, the angle, you can't change anything with the angle of the missiles, which is why I think the older ones look a bit better. But yeah, look at that angle. I mean, I get it. I get the angle of the missiles that they have to fire, in that trajectory. But I just prefer the old one. And then, of course, where would we be without a teleport Homer, which was a bit fragile. I think it broke a couple of the cables, but as I always say, these things come in pieces, and you are expected to glue them together, and if you get some breakages, yeah, that's the beauty of it. You can just glue them together. So yeah, it's very similar to the one in the Leviathan set. So that's all the miniatures. Nice set to build. I would like to build more, but I will wait for them to appear in an army set one day. Let's have a look at these spare parts that I've talked about then. So they're all here. Nice selection of spare parts. So we're getting unhelmeted heads, quite a number of them in fact. There's 4, 5. So 5 unhelmeted heads, so you can have all 5 of them without their helmet. Not sure why you would, it's like kind of cutting out a hole in the front of a tank, for snipers to shoot at their face. Yes, obviously they've got their invulnerable saves and things, but I think a lot of these heads are very different too, which is nice. So you get some character personalization with those. So you can go for that if you really wish. Games Workshop themselves have obviously removed the helmet on the most important member of the unit. Then you get these 2 heads as well, which look, I think, exactly the same. I think all the helmeted heads are very similar. The only differences being, I think the Sergeant, I've got some bionics, and also I've got bionics on the missile launcher 1, which you'd expect. You get the different heavy weapons. The rule is you're allowed 1 heavy weapon with a unit of 5, so you can have the missile launcher, or this heavy flamer, or the assault cannon. Of course I've got the assault cannon for the other. If I was to pick up another 5, I'd probably go for the missile launcher again rather than the heavy flamer, but still, there's that. You get a couple of different chest pieces. I think that's more to do with the missile launcher one, but I just went for a standard one. A couple more shoulder pauldrons. I think they're all exactly the same, except for the sergeant has an extra sort of jewel, if you remember them from last time. I've got a couple more chain fist extras, not sure why. I mean, I would understand if you had 1 extra, you know, for the sergeant, but I have used them on all of them, so yeah, there's an extra one. And then what's interesting is if you don't use the chain fist thing, they've actually, you know, sculpted full cowlings for the fists as well. You get, you know, the fuel canister for the flamer, and I think that's the ammunition or something, and then the guard for the flamer. You get these little tassets. I'm not sure why you're getting separate ones, because probably the sergeant ones are fancy, so there's 2 spare ones there. You're getting 3 different shields, so yeah, unfortunately that means that you're not going to equip them all with the shields on their right shoulder plate. If you do that, you're going to have 1 missing, which I think is a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have had all of them with the shields, but I think you get a shield with the stern guard, so you could probably use that one from the stern guard. But here's a shield from the assault intercessors, and it just doesn't work. It's a little bit, well, it's actually about the same size, but the cutout is opposite to the rest of them. Well, this one doesn't even have a cutout, so maybe that would work, but it just seems a bit odd that you'd have a cutout, you know, closer to the weak point of the armor joint. But yeah, this was from the assault intercessor. Power fists, then you get 1 pointing, and then there's another one with the hand kind of open, and then you get these little trinkets, which I only used 1, I think, on the sergeant, but there's no real reason why you couldn't put these 2 on the others. But again, you're not going to be able to put these longer trinkets on all of them. You can't have all 5, you'll only have 3 of them with them. There are these smaller little jewels, but I would have liked some continuity in having 5 of the little shields and 5 of these trinket things, but that's the only kind of extras that I would have included in the set. The sprues are very full anyway as it is. So size comparisons then. Let's kick off with the Terminators from the Leviathan box set, of which I have right here. Here are the 5. So of course they go quite well. You know, the sergeant I think is in a better pose, and the rest of them they're in okay poses. I just prefer all the poses. Both sets have their, you know, good and sort of not so good poses, I think. But you know, once you've got the Leviathan set and a separate kit, then of course there's nothing stopping you from swapping that sergeant with that one and then leaving it like that, I guess. But yeah, you know, you can swap them about, but it's just nice to have 10 of them now. They're, yeah, as I say, going to be exactly the same size. The sergeant for the Leviathan is a bit taller just because of that big old tactical rock, and each of them do have like a little extra bit of scenery on their base. I can easily see the Leviathan kit being included in like a Warhammer Imperium Hachette Partworks sort of subscription in the future. So that's where they stand with the you know, current Terminators. They're going to be pretty much the same. If we carry on with the Terminator theme just for a while, and compared to the Captain in Terminator armor, they haven't released the multi-part kit yet. I'm sure that's on its way soon, but yeah, these work pretty well with that Terminator 2. And of course, yeah, I'll be picking up the the new Terminator captain when he comes out. Keeping on with the Terminator theme just for a moment before I compare it to regular intercessors and jump packs and things like that, let's have a little trip down memory lane. This is one of the previous edition Terminators. I'm not going to give you comparisons with Blightlord or Custodes or anything like that. They're just split up into too many boxes now for me to just pull them out, but at least Space Marines I can. And this is probably why you're here, I'm not sure, but gives you an idea. Yeah, there's a kind of similar size jump, I'd probably say more so, coming from Primaris, standard Legacy Space Marines to Primaris. That's not that much of a size bump. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not that much. But these, yes, it's a bigger size increase, I think. If you look where the head is, and the missiles though seem to have shrunk. The pack isn't as big. I would have preferred a bigger pack. It seems odd that the sensor array is all the way far back there. I guess for protection, I don't know, but it should be front and center, right at the front of the missile set, I think. It might have a fisheye lens or something, but yeah, I'd be surprised if it, the actual cowling for the missiles doesn't interfere with that. That would have been nice if it was at the front, and there's no like little vent thing for the processor. There's no extra skulls. On the rear we get these exhausts, which is good, but the old kit, they actually have flaps that I guess once missiles are launched, the flaps sort of open with exhaust, so that's quite cool. The rear, the legs is more articulated. They actually look like plates. I mean, for these Terminators, you're gluing these van braces here as separate ones, and you can see the sort of hole markers there. The tassets, not quite sure why the tassets are individual, but it certainly adds a bit more of a 3D effect to the armor. These are kind of sculpted on. The kind of rear of the Terminator is just like flat, whereas this one is articulated, and you can see the joins and things and the seals, which is way better. The cabling is better. This cabling for the Stormbolter, like, there was a little bit of a gap, but it looked more molded on, whereas these are individual cables. The chain fist is good, but I do miss like the skull or some kind of iconography. I think you do get one bit of iconography for the Sergeant. The Crux Terminatus is better detailed, and the actual helmet itself is better detailed. There's more things going on. You've got extra little details there on the kind of nose. You've got a full breakdown and 3D detailing into the kind of vent area. There's just more going on. They've even put slits on the side. The old Terminator helmets were connected to the sprue on the kind of top, I say earpieces, you know what I mean, kind of vent things. These were not, so you're not going to get that issue. They've maintained the very rounded shoulder plates. The sort of chest and the sort of torso area, there's more detail on that belt thing going on. Also, as I say, the Stormbolter just looks fantastic. These magazines look very big and chunky, and the whole weapon has just had a massive upgrade there. It's just fantastic. So yeah, that's my sort of detailed look and comparison between the old and the new. The new, it still kind of works, but there's more of a difference. This is a thing. You're definitely going to notice these next to the older Terminators than you would Primaris and Legacy. So just bear that in mind. I know everybody wants bigger Space Marines and things, and with these Primaris Terminators, there's definitely, if you like Terminators, the old ones, and you've got quite a few, yeah, it's going to make a big difference. Just because I was hunting around my my box and things, I've got another comparison with a Terminator. Very old school Goblin Green again. Look how small this Terminator is compared. And these were my first Terminators. You can tell with the terrible hazard stripes that I've painted on. These are like one of my first models that I received. These weren't like one of my first models I got. You can tell because it's proper paint by numbers. But yeah, gives you an idea of where we've come in sort of 25, 30 years or so. Yeah, the metal models were this size as well. So yeah, great little comparison there for you guys. Keeping on with the Space Marine theme then, yeah, compared to obviously an Intercessor, they are, I think, kind of the same height. There's not much in it at all. You know, this is upright pose, the most upright I'd say. Yes, he's walking forward, but they are the same size. You know, you could easily imagine a Primaris fitting in this suit of armour now, and you know, compared to the Legacy Space Marines, it's fine. You know, this is the size I'd expect normal Terminators to be compared to Legacy Space Marines. You know, back in the day. But saying that, you know, compared to the old school ones, these were just a little bit bigger, and these worked. But there you go. Yeah, Slime Marbo, why not? Yeah, way bigger than Slime Marbo. Okay, this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for this Terminator squad. They're going to be exactly the same rules as the Leviathan set. These are going to be exactly the same rules as the Leviathan set, which back in the day when I did review them, those rules were free. Now you have to pay for them, which, yeah, you know my thoughts on that. I think all the rules should be free for these very expensive miniatures. And if you think about it, if collectors were thinking about picking up new models, well, my first port of call would be to go and look at their rules to see if they're any good. And yeah, you can't do that. To then, you know, formulate a decision of whether to pick them up, which is why I hope this video helps, because it does include the rules for these miniatures. So the Terminator squad, for 5 models it will cost you 200 points. You can go for 10 models at 400 points. The movement speed is 5. Their stat line reads as follows: movement speed 5 inches, toughness 5, save of 2+, 3 wounds, leadership 6+, objective control 1, and they do have an invulnerable save of 4+. The unit composition is 1 Terminator Sergeant and between 4 and 9 Terminators. Every model is equipped with Stormbolt and Power Fist. The war gear options: for every 5 models in this unit, 1 Terminator Stormbolter can be replaced with one of the following: 1 Assault Cannon, 1 Heavy Flamer, 1 Cyclone Missile Launcher, and 1 Stormbolter. Any number of models can each have their Power Fist replaced with 1 Chain Fist. The Terminator Sergeant's Power Fist can be replaced with 1 Power Weapon, which mine is. So what's the deal? What's the damage output with all these weapons? So let's start off with the range weapons. So although mine don't include an Assault Cannon, the previous set, my other set does, it would be a weapon that has devastating wounds, so range of 24 inches, 6 attacks, ballistic skill 3+, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1. The Cyclone Missile Launcher has 2 profiles. It has a frag profile, which is a blast weapon. It's a 36-inch range, attacks 2d6, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. So that's a purely kind of anti-horde, anti-infantry weapon. It's a shame it's only 36 inches. It's a real shame. It should be 48 inches. You know, you are forgoing an assault cannon, you're forgoing a heavy flamer for something that's 36. I really think it should be 48, because then you could just let rip from a good distance. I believe the previous Cyclone Missile Launcher was 48 inches. The other profile is a crack missile, which again is same range, 36 inches, 2 attacks, 3+ to hit, strength 9, AP -2, damage d6. So that's pretty good. That's going to go against your tanks and things. That's going to fire against tanks and other high toughness units. The Heavy Flamer, it ignores cover and it's a torrent weapon. It's a range of 12 inches. Attacks d6, ballistic skill is non-applicable because it hits automatically. The strength is a 5, AP -1, damage 1. It's pretty good. The Storm Bolter, which is what all of mine are equipped with. It's a rapid fire 2 weapon. It's a range of 24 inches, 2 attacks, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. It's fine, you know. I'm going to be getting 10 shots with this thing, or 20 if it's half range, I think. I'm going to be getting 10 shots with these, or possibly 20 shots at half range. Melee weapons, mine are all equipped with chain fists except for the sergeant, but the chain fist is an anti-vehicle 3+. It's a melee weapon, 3 attacks, weapon skill 4+, strength 8, AP -2, damage 2. You can have them as a power fist instead, which is a melee weapon, attacks 3, weapon skill 3+, strength 8, AP -2, damage 2. So right there, it's, you know, harder to hit things, you know, because it's 4+ instead of 3+. But you are getting that extra bonus against vehicles. If you're playing against your friends and they don't have any vehicles, they should allow you to just have them as power fists instead. The power weapon, or the power sword that the sergeant has, it's a melee weapon, attacks 4, weapon skill 3+, strength 5, AP -2, damage 1. So that's pretty good. You know, it's worth giving the sergeant a power fist. It's worth giving the sergeant a power weapon because the power fists, you know, they don't have any debuff to hitting anymore. They used to hit last, then you used to have to hit on a worse weapon skill and so on, but they're now straight up 3+ to hit. You know, it's whether you want that extra attack with the sergeant's power weapon. Abilities, they have core ability Deep Strike, and the faction is Oath of Moment. Another ability is Teleport Homer. At the start of the battle, you can set up 1 Teleport Homer token for this unit anywhere on the battlefield that is not in your opponent's deployment zone. If you do, once per battle, you can target this unit with the Rapid Ingress stratagem for 0 command points, but when resolving that stratagem, you must set this unit up within 3 inches of that token and not within 9 inches of any enemy models. That token is then removed. Also, Fury of the Fist. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, add 1 to the hit roll. It's pretty good. The keywords: Infantry, Imperium, Terminator, Terminator Squad. So there you go. That is the Terminator Squad. Why would you pick them over the Terminator Assault Squad? Well, 1, they're bigger and they look better. And they're more expensive. But it really depends on what you want to go for. They've got a nice balance of anti-horde with their storm bolters, and I say anti-horde with their power fists. I mean, at the end of the day, they're getting 3 attacks each. You know, it's 15 strength 8 hits that are weapon skill 3+, AP -2, and damage of 2. So they can still be anti-horde now because they don't have any debuffs for their power fists. They're very survivable with that toughness 5 and the 2+ save and the 4+ invulnerable. I don't know what could make them better at this point, other than, you know, an increased range for the missile launcher for 1. But why would you take them over the Terminator Assault Squad? I hope that we are going to get a bigger, improved detail Terminator Assault Squad at some point. But the main reason you go for the Terminator Assault Squad is, you know, you teleport in with them. If you're going for Thunderhammer Storm Shield, the Storm Shield isn't as good as it used to be. It used to give you a 4+ invulnerable save. Terminators only used to get a 5+ invulnerable save, so that's been completely rehauled to this 4+. The Storm Shield doesn't give them a better invulnerable save anymore. It would have been nice to give them a 3+ invulnerable, and that's what I think they should have given them. But all that changes is they just get an extra wound. I mean, that's still pretty good at the end of the day. You know, you've got 20 wounds there now with just 5 models. But I would have preferred a 3+ invulnerable. The Thunderhammers are decent, but they are a bit slower to hit. Unfortunately, they are a weapon skill of 4+. I would have preferred them to be 3+. I don't think that they're any more unwieldy than a big old power fist. I think they're probably can be wielded more efficiently, I would have thought. They have the rest of the stat line, so they are a worse power fist. And then if you go for the twin lightning claws, you're going for full horde removing capability, you know, 5 attacks each then. So you got a whopping 25 attacks at the strength 5 and AP -2. So at the moment, I'd go for just your normal standard Terminator squad, or with power fists or chain fists if you're against vehicles, maybe. So that's the big differences between them. What do you guys think of the Terminator squad? I think they're fantastic. I think the rules are excellent for them now. They are the elite unit, you know, that I remember. They kind of lost their way for a little bit, but yeah, what a fantastic return for Space Marines to have this incredible kit, and I've got every faith that this kit will be around for a long time, and yeah, I'm sure Games Workshop will improve on it and you know, give us different chapter specific kits, and you know, hopefully an assault Terminator kit as well. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.